Today we talked to Camille Kennard from Flourish Wellness Consulting.
And we're going to talk Suicide Squad.
All this and Kent Dunn
Hey.
on Talk 365. Hello, welcome to Talk 365. I'm Rich Bonaducci.
And I'm Kent Dunn.
What the hey?
I'm here. The whole show.
The whole show. Holly's got a well-deserved day off, so we got Kenny D coming in here. Tell them where you're from.
Well, I'm not as pretty as Holly.
Well,
or as smart.
Look at those baby blues.
But, all right. Thank you for that. I've got a bubble here. You can find me at I have a few podcasts. Go to iTunes, look up Bacon Cell or Podbash. You can also read my movie reviews at ShowtimeShowdown.com. And what else? Do I have more things?
Don't you?
Don't I?
And
here on KJZZ Channel 14.
Well, that too. And Kent Dunn is the newest member of the Utah Film Critics Association.
Really?
Yep.
This is actually news. This isn't some plant.
All new.
That is awesome.
As of today.
Wait, I get free movies now? Wait, I already did.
You kind of already did.
Yeah. I'll take it, though.
Yeah. You and Adam, actually.
Oh, that's
Adam
awesome.
McDonald from Big Shiny Robot.
Okay.
Also part of the UFCA. So welcome, Adam, and welcome, Kent.
Thank you very much.
There
That's
you
awesome.
Go. Let's get to the first
You
segment.
tease.
Yeah. Let's get to the first segment that Holly actually did before she went on vacation, chatting with Camille at Flourish Wellness Consulting. Camille's a life coach, and some really interesting information here. Check it out.
Hey everybody, welcome to our continued conversation on wellness. Today I am with Camille Kennard from Flourish Wellness Consulting. Camille, thank you so much for talking to me today. Okay, so tell me about consulting, because really you're a life coach, right? Mm-hmm. Life coaches are amazing. I love this. So tell me all about it, what you do, and what types of people are coming to see you.
So I really help people get really clear on what it is they want with their health. So I help them kind of get a vision in their mind. We actually write out a very specific vision of what they want. An example of that would be, I want to be healthy and fit. I want to have time for my kids. I want to be able to live the life I want. And I actually have them state it as if it already happened. I am healthy. I am physically active. I am having time for my children and everything in my life. So I help them do that, and we actually set up monthly goals as well as weekly goals that they're working on. And we look at what the strategies are to help them accomplish those goals, and then also any challenges or opportunities that they see with that. And I focus a lot on positive psychology. So I help them look at what's going well, what's going right. Each week when they come, we talk about the celebrations. What went well this week? You know, what were you able to do? You know, sometimes people are hard on themselves, and something I believe strongly in is self-compassion, and that's something I teach my clients as well. And sometimes they'll be hard on themselves and say, "Oh, I ate a cookie this week," you know, and or be very. And we tend to think in black and white, and I try to help people see what's going right, what's going well. What did you do well? What were you happy about?
You only ate one cookie.
Yeah. You exercised this week and you felt really good. You spent time with your family. Whatever it was that they were really excited about, because the more you expand on that, the more that builds their confidence and their self-efficacy, so that they want to continue to do those kinds of behaviors.
I love that. Now there's something to writing it down too, right? I know there's a couple books my sister has read and has told me about, and basically she said, you just have to write down your goals. Just write it down, and you have to handwrite it. What is that?
I think it just helps people be really clear. I actually have them not only write it down, but I have them put a picture of what they want, so they could get like magazines, a vision board. Yeah.
Ooh, I do
so
love
that
those.
They're putting it in words, because we think in words and pictures. So helping them put it down in words and pictures actually helps it become a part of their mind. So they're thinking about it constantly. So actually they are creating the life they want in their head before they create it physically.
That's very cool. Now, what is the difference between life coaching and seeing like a psychologist? Because your background is in psychology, right?
Right. I'm a licensed clinical social worker as well. So the difference is when you're doing coaching, you're working with people that are really motivated to make some changes in their lives. It could be anyone. It could be my neighbor, and they're people that don't necessarily have a diagnosis like of depression or anxiety or some kind of a clinical mental health diagnosis. So I look at it as I'm helping people get to the next notch, the next level in the way they think about themselves and their life. And that's where the wellness coaching comes in. So
I think that no matter where you're at, you can always think better. I know some of the greatest minds in the world have a life coach that help you attain goals and do exactly what you're saying. How often are people meeting with you to make these goals happen?
It really depends on the client, so it's individualized to what they're working on. For example, if a client wants to run a 5K in 2 months, that's pretty soon. So we're probably going to try to meet every week and talk about, okay, how many miles do you need to run, and what do you need to eat, and those kinds of things, and getting really specific. The majority of my clients, I have them commit to a 3 months, just because we know for any habit to change, it takes at least that long for that behavior change to happen. And so I have them commit to that, and then they'll meet every other week the majority of the time. And then some people do meet like once a month if they just kind of need a little booster to what they're already planning on doing. But if they really need some intense coaching around emotional eating or stress management, things like that, we usually meet about every other week.
Because you work with a lot of people who have eating disorders or have relationship problems with food. Tell me a little bit about that and about your movement classes, because I used to be I was a ballet major and I was a ballerina, and we studied a lot about movement therapy when I was in school, and how cool that was. If you learn to move slow, you'll learn to react slow, and I was always fascinated by that kinesiology stuff. So explain that.
A big part of what I do is, actually it's the majority of what I do, is mindfulness. So mindfulness in every aspect, mindfulness in your movement. And what mindfulness is it's paying attention to something without judgment in that moment. So helping people move mindfully, helping people, which I try to have them find something that is joyful to them they can do moving. So if it's gardening, if it's spending time with their kids outdoors, if they're doing some kind of movement, they'll see the benefits of that. And then I also have them do a mindful eating. So why am I eating? It's really being clear on, okay, I'm just noticing that I'm eating this. I'm eating it because I have emotional hunger. Am I actually really physically hungry? What is the reason why I'm eating? So it's kind of gaining insight into your behavior and being present in your body. I've noticed that in our culture that we're in with technology, and we're so busy, people aren't very present in their bodies, and that's a big thing that I try to get people to tune into is, what am I experiencing in this moment? What am I feeling? You know, what's going on here? And helping them come up with some plans for that. So I do yoga and mindfulness events. So we talk about being able to help people with anxiety or stresses to be able to kind of come down from that through the movement. And then also just helping them come up with an eating program that works for them to kind of be present with their food and have a good relationship with food. We often have a love-hate relationship with food. Like, I love my brownie, but it's bad for me, so I hate it, right?
Yeah.
And I try to get people to not say this is a bad food or this is a good food, but just in general, what do I feel when I eat that? What's the experience like for me when I eat that certain food? So I try to get really hard to not get people to get them out of the black and white thinking, because you know, New Year's comes and we're like, I'm gonna just exercise all the time, or I'm not gonna do, you know.
It keeps you more middle and not going
more moderate.
So extreme.
Yeah, so helping people kind of moderate their thinking, and also just really tune into what they're feeling and thinking, noticing when they're feeling stress, and helping them have a kind of an emotional care kit of things they can go to that help them decompress from that stressful feeling. So,
well, I think anytime somebody has been chronically ill, or maybe not chronically ill to the level of, you know, like they've had cancer forever, but even myself, I think I've been sick for a year with something and I could not find a diagnosis. I couldn't find doctors in and out of ERs. They just all basically said, after they looked at the tests that they were willing to do, you're fine. Maybe you're crazy. Maybe you're stressed out. Maybe get a life coach. Maybe see someone. Well, hey, maybe you should, because you know what? I got really scared towards the end of, right before I figured out some blood work and got some stuff done to find out what was happening with me. Had H. pylori, it's bacteria, if you've missed the other part of this discussion in earlier series. But anxiety levels were high, my stress level was high, I was really scared, and I started thinking about the different aspects of wellness, and I think I was feeling victimized, and that's what was happening. And so being in charge and taking control of your life that way changes everything. And I think someone like you, even if you don't have a diagnosis yet, or you're struggling with anything at all, from not feeling great to not meeting your goals, empowering yourself and having someone help you become empowered, that's a powerful place to be, and I love that you're doing that. Really quick before we go, tell me, is there a life habit that you have, a wellness habit, that you wouldn't give up?
I would say that my wellness habit that I would never give up is taking a break. we all need to take breaks. We're too
Okay.
busy, and we need to take time to do that mindfulness, or making some time to meditation.
Okay.
So for
Ooh,
meditation,
I like that.
yeah.
All right, Camille, how do people get a hold of you who want to come and see you?
They can just get a hold of me on my website. It's flourishwellnessconsulting.com, and they can find out about my different programs there, the Joyful Movement, mindful eating, and just using mindfulness to deal with stress. So, yeah.
Everyone, don't go anywhere. You can take a break right now, but not for long, because Rich and I will be right back right after this. Camille, thank you so much.
Thank you. It's been fun.
Need an auto loan? Come see us first and get pre-approved. University Credit Union, local to Utah, loyal to you.
University Credit Union, local to Utah, loyal to you.
Thanks for watching Talk 365. I hope you enjoyed that last segment, part of our Wellness Week, and I hope you enjoy this one too. This one's not wellness at all, especially by the sound of it. Suicide Squad.
Sounds a little dangerous.
This sounds a little dangerous. This segment, we actually have 2 segments left in the show. We're going to talk about the movie,
Yeah.
spoiler-free, folks. So if you haven't seen it, don't worry about it.
This is the one it's okay to watch. And then if you just don't care, watch the next one too.
Or if you've already seen it and you're kind of interested, want to get in on the conversation, so to speak,
Yeah.
we will be talking a little bit and using some examples from the movie, for instance, in the 3rd segment. But right now, we'll do it fair and square, no spoilers. And if you don't know what Suicide Squad is, here's a trailer to give you a taste.
I want to build a team of some very bad people who I think can do some good.
Y'all jokers must be crazy. This is the deal. You disobey me, you die. Try to escape, you die. You got a boyfriend? You irritate or vex me,
I'm known to be quite vexing. I'm just forewarning you.
you die.
If they get caught, we throw them under the bus.
What a ride!
To me, this is kind of DC's Guardians of the Galaxy. I know a lot of people are making that comparison, but I made it first, dang it. And
You made it first?
I did. I walked out and I said, this is kind of Guardians of the Galaxy. but
Now,
with
just
more
in case
guns.
people are wondering, we're going to scrutinize this movie pretty heavily because it's unlike many summer blockbusters. Like, it's meant to close off the summer season, and it's not your typical action movie. It's a superhero movie, and there's now a lot of stake in every one of these.
Yeah,
So that's why we're doing 2 segments here.
And especially for DC, who's had a little bit of a rocky start with
Yeah.
their movies, trying to catch up to Marvel, so to speak, and they thought Batman vs. Superman might do it. And even though some people really liked it, a lot of people didn't, and even though it made a lot of money, it didn't make it in the way they wanted it to. It's
It's
just
like
kind of a
100
weird...
million short of 1 billion.
Yeah.
Those poor guys.
And now, of course, the DVD with the Ultimate Edition that has about 30 extra minutes to it that I think
Go get it.
improves on it.
A half-letter grade.
Yeah.
Go get it.
So they kind of are hanging their hat on Suicide Squad a little bit. I
They
read
are.
an article in Entertainment Weekly where they're like, we thought this was going to be a fun kind of a fun side movie. Now it's a tentpole for our whole DCCU, so to speak.
They can't keep saying that.
And I don't think they should do that.
They can't.
It's got to be stronger than one movie.
Right.
I mean, Marvel had Iron Man 2.
Well, especially a movie that, if you saw the
Pretty early
trailer,
on.
there's not very many characters. Yes, you know Will Smith. Yes, you may know Margot Robbie or Jared Leto. People don't generally know these characters outside of comics.
They might know Joker because they've seen
Sure.
Joker in a bunch of other movies, but you probably don't know Harley Quinn or Slipknot. Or,
Who's good with ropes and knots?
Who's good with ropes and knots? And Captain Boomerang, which is not a Deadpool joke. His name is Captain Boomerang. So yeah, and the reason I say it's like Guardians is because Guardians of the Galaxy was a C-list, if that, group of
Right.
ragtag anti-hero types, criminals, even thieves, even murderers to a certain extent. With Gamora, she outright kills people. and whatnot.
Wisecrackers,
Yeah.
sure.
Who have to band together for the greater good, and they end up kind of making their own little thieves' family sort of thing.
Yes.
And Suicide Squad has a lot of those elements to it too. It's supposed to be gritty. It's also supposed to be funny.
Influenced by music, supposed to be zany.
Lots of musical,
Right.
lots of choices in there. Some good, some,
Right.
And one of them, I'm just going to. I'll save that for the spoiler. I'll
Okay.
save that for the spoiler.
I'm
but
curious now.
There you go.
All right.
But
You're gonna have to watch.
Yeah, you're gonna have to watch. What did you think as a whole, without getting spoilery?
As a whole, yes, I scrutinized this movie a great deal. In short, I will expand on this a ton, but I'm disappointed.
Me too.
I'm just disappointed.
Yeah.
I think I bought into the hype of like, well, hey, no one likes the dark tone except for me of the DC movies.
I do.
Maybe they'll like this quirky stuff. And I thought they're going more Marvel, and that's okay. Let them do their thing, see if they can appease people, and it misfired.
It seemed like it wasn't dark enough where it wanted to be dark, and
Yeah.
it wasn't funny enough where it's trying to be funny. A lot of the funny lines belong to Will Smith, and I think if you've got him in your movie, you let him do his thing. You give him a lot of funny lines.
In fact, it's been 10 years since I've really enjoyed Will Smith in a movie, and this is the one.
He's good.
He was Will Smith once again, but it's comfort food, and he was the character that brought the heart to the movie. Oh, he along with someone else, which we'll
Okay,
get to.
yeah, we'll get
but
to.
I really liked his character. In fact, he was one of the less zany ones, and
That's true.
made it almost more cohesive as a group.
That's
but
for sure.
Everyone else struggled to fit in.
Now, part of the problem, I think, is that they did have 5 or 6 folks that they have to introduce to you, the audience.
Right.
That's 5 or 6 origin stories they got to squeeze in. And some of them they showed, and some of them they just didn't even bother to show, really. And
Well, and they did this in the intro.
bit of a montage.
And it was very Tarantino-esque.
Yes.
Which I was fine with because that's the kind of movie this is.
Sure.
And each person had like a minute and a half intro. And I was like, cool, we're not spending a whole movie doing the origin.
That's all you really need for
Because, just so you know, this
Captain
is,
Boomerang.
on the plus side, this is a different movie than you're going to see any superhero act in. This is one mission. It is the Wild Bunch. It's the Dirty
That's true,
Dozen.
that's true.
It's just, it kind of falls apart, but the intro is strong, where
Yeah.
it just introduces all of them, gets you to a place. Yes, it leaves some out, but you know they're going to die.
Yeah, someone's got to die to explain the stakes.
Right.
Etc.
Yeah.
But I think part of the problem with the movie, and again, we won't get into it here too much, is that the villain of the flick is mystical, is magical. And most of these folks shoot things, throw knives,
have
and
knives.
carry bats.
Yes.
They really can't do anything to the villain they chose for the movie.
This was an opportunity for them to do like an ending where the world was not in peril
Not
and do
the-
fisticuffs.
Right.
And just have these guys do a gunfight or a fist fight, and it would have been perfect. It would have been a small battalion. Instead, they went kind of Ghostbusters in the end.
Yeah.
Like the world is in danger, and we've seen that so many times this summer
Oh, yeah.
that we just don't care.
In virtually every superhero movie that Marvel's done, for sure, it's always the world is in danger,
Yeah.
and sometimes it's a country. But even then, it's
Sometimes
just the
it's a
first.
friendship.
But sometimes that's just the first country in a domino effect kind of
Right.
thing. Why can't we have some stakes that are smaller but still very real?
Okay, I'm going into the deep right here, but
Okay.
Christopher Nolan with his Batman trilogy really knew how to localize the threat.
All right.
It was smaller, and it made it perfect and personal for Batman as the character. Now it's just, hey, if we don't stop this guy, this girl, things are going to end really badly for the planet.
A lot of these guys
And it's boring.
are street level folks.
Yes.
You don't put street level against an enchantress who can basically go and just blow you away.
Mm-hmm.
It's like putting Daredevil against Thanos. It just doesn't work.
Yeah, I would
And-
like to see that.
Although in Frank Miller's run with the comics, he put him up against the likes of like Bullseye,
Yeah, true.
Kingpin, folks that made sense for him to do battle with. This enemy doesn't make any sense to
No.
this movie.
The enemy, and also it feels like, and I'm really hoping, in fact, I'll be disappointed if there's not, just like with Batman v Superman, there is a director's cut out there somewhere. I think David Ayers, he made a 3-hour movie, and a WB said, I'm sorry, we're going to make that 2. Because there's a lot of story where they just jump, and the editing is actually kind of atrocious
It's
at times.
choppy, yeah.
And I was like, I know there's a story that we're not getting. And that's what I want to see. If in 3-4 months I get to see that DVD, that Blu-ray, I'll be happy, but I'm still disappointed with the product right now.
Yeah, we saw it with a bunch of the public, and although sometimes people clap at the end of the movie and it's kind of funny,
Right.
it was pretty quiet at the end of this movie. And I went, uh-oh. These are people that really want to see this. They stood in line to get free tickets for this, and they're not like, woo!
Yeah.
I went, this is bad news.
Keep in mind, it's been such a bad summer
It has.
that every blockbuster has just been average.
Yeah, we've been on that.
And this was meant to be the one to save it.
It was.
But, and I'll say this, it's a good movie. It's nowhere near great.
No.
It's okay. In fact, I think it's right where we sit with the blockbusters this summer. I think it's no worse, but I think it's no better.
So if you had to give it a grade, for instance, I'm in the C+ range.
I'm B-.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I'm still up there a little
Yeah.
bit, but there's just disappointment all over. I wanted it to be a B+, A-. That's what I was expecting.
Well, I have a feeling that we can maybe talk about this a little bit more with some spoilers.
I think we
now.
should, yeah.
So come on back and we'll talk Suicide Squad again with some spoilers. So if you haven't seen her yet, well, don't blame me if you stick around. But stick around anyway. Just turn the sound down because I want to watch the show.
Right.
And by the way, Kent has the joke of the day and he doesn't even know it yet.
Oh no.
So you want to stick around for that. It's at the end.
University Credit Union. Local to Utah, loyal to you.
University Credit Union, 16 locations from Bountiful to South Jordan. Local to Utah, loyal to you.
Talk 365's Critical Mass Moment is brought to you by The Movie Show.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Talk 365. I'm Kent Dunn.
I'm Rich Bonaducci.
And just in case you didn't catch our first two segments there,
Yep.
we had a great guest. We had a good talk about an okay movie.
But spoiler free.
But spoiler free. So you're going to have to watch that part later, because right now,
Spoilers.
we need to warn you, it's spoiler time.
Yeah, we do.
So hopefully you've seen the movie, maybe you just don't care, this doesn't strike your fancy, but we're going to get into it.
Okay?
Okay.
I got a couple of them just off the top of my head.
No, please do.
And this one's silly. Yes, Guardians of the Galaxy had this great soundtrack that everybody loved, and they sold the soundtrack separately. They got all these volumes coming in. It's actually part of the story. These guys do it too. There's a lot of very specific tracks, even for characters, etc. But there's one track I hate when they use, because everybody uses it for street cred. Rolling Stones, Sympathy for the Devil.
Yeah.
And I'm like, as soon as I heard that, I'm like, come on. This is in every 70s espionage, whatever. I'm like, fine.
Well, they kept doing it. I mean, I do think it was forced in Guardians of the Galaxy. I think good music can make you like something. Even if it's just an average scene, you're like, but that song was great, so that made it good.
Yeah.
And they forced it into the story, and it worked okay. This one was basically the director saying, here's mini music videos for each of these characters.
For each of these characters.
Which is okay, because the trailers didn't mislead you that way. They used classic songs and said, this is what they're going to be, and they used those same songs in the movie.
Yeah.
But then again, I think they should have just, I don't know, everything that was great in the trailer was okay here, because I'd seen it 4 or 5 times.
In fact, there were parts in the trailer that were not in this movie, which leads me to believe that your director's cut is out there.
I'm hoping.
Yeah. Again, it tries to be dark. It's not dark enough. It tries to be funny. It's not funny enough. Will Smith gets most of the funny lines.
Yeah.
There's a guard that gets some good
I
lines.
actually thought he was great.
And they get rid of him.
But he disappeared.
Yeah, like why did
Harley
you
says, oh, Joker's going to get you. And then he's gone.
Why not give those lines to someone who's going to stick around for the movie? Someone you're going to follow.
Yeah.
Because part of the problem with this
You
movie,
mean like Scott Eastwood, who shows up as some just army dude?
Right.
I was like, maybe it's Dick Grayson. No, he's just some guy.
And of course, they do introduce some characters solely to get rid of them, to show the stakes of the reason why they can get these guys out to do this mission at all is they've injected something into her neck, a little mini explosive that they can set off and blow their head off at any time if they disobey.
Yeah, exactly.
And the first chance they get, someone, I won't even blow it, tries to get away, and they go chick and kill him.
You won't even blow it, huh?
He's in the movie like, what, 10 minutes?
Right.
I want to say?
It was
screen time?
I liked it. And by the way, it's very PG-13, so don't think like blowing someone's head off. Like, the effect is there, but it's
you know
not
what
much
happened.
blood. You know what
it's not
happens.
shown. But we don't get. This is kind of Will Smith's movie. He's in it a lot.
Yeah.
And he's a major character. But there's another major character I think there's a problem with. At least 2 of them.
The Joker?
The Joker.
And Harley.
I was not super thrilled with Jared Leto's Joker. He sounded like he was trying to pull a James Cagney the whole time.
He's kind of
like this.
Yes. Okay, I'll say this. I actually, walking out of the movie, I go, I don't know if that Joker is for me, because it's impossible to compare against Heath Ledger. It's just impossible. But I will say, I like the take. It's not perfect. I'm not saying better than Heath Ledger, but I'm saying it made me uneasy anytime he was on screen. And yes, I think he was on screen too much, because he's meant to be a wild card in the movie. But I liked it. In fact, with Harley, I liked her a lot, actually. And she's an abuse victim. She is dealing with this terrible, terrible human being.
Abusive
Terrible,
situation,
but her idealized version, and this is Harley in the comics and in the old cartoon, her idealized version of the Joker is this family man. And it shows
1950s
that.
Warden
And
T.V.
so you just see
Cleaver.
how twisted her mind is, and I'm like, that's great. Because even though it's sadistic, their relationship, what she feels about it is way different from what we are seeing.
And so this is something you may or may not. The Enchantress, the evil, the big baddie of the film,
Yes.
shows the heroes their fantasy to try to win them over to her side. And of course, Harley Quinn's fantasy is to have a normal life with kids and a house and Joker and the whole bit.
Yeah.
But Will Smith's is to kill Batman. And I went, I don't buy it. You know what I thought would have been really cool? To show him sitting with his daughter, like helping her with her homework.
No.
That's his fantasy, to be with his daughter.
Because, spoiler alert, he got that moment. No.
But that's my point.
No, Batman,
so at the end,
no.
they show it that he actually got his fantasy anyway.
He got it. He was humiliated by the Batman in that
Wow.
scene. And his daughter's like, are you bad? And he's like, no, I'm not bad. And then Batman says, oh, you're a terrible man, I'm taking you to prison.
But even that was
He
dumb.
wanted to kill, but he wanted to kill the man who humiliated him.
But even
and that's
that-
the kind of person he is.
Even that was dumb. I thought Batman was shoehorned into this quite a bit because Batman shows up in front of his daughter and says, all right, I don't want to do this in front of your daughter. Then don't. He shows up with the kid there. I'm like,
Right.
okay.
Well, it's weakness.
Yeah.
Batman's a smart guy. So,
don't know.
actually, okay, there's a stinger in the mid-credits, if we can talk about
Yes,
this.
but not at the end.
And I think Bruce
By the way.
Bruce Wayne in that stinger is actually very well used. Batman not great beforehand. I mean, Batman's great. Batman's always great. What am I talking about? But the use of him, not perfect. But in the end, he basically says, yeah, it's time to disband this ragtag group you have because I've got
The
friends.
A-team is coming.
Basically, the A-team is coming.
Yeah.
These D-listers who are fighting a witch may not be able to do a good job.
Yeah. Which
Yeah.
means no Suicide Squad 2, I'm thinking.
I think the same thing. I think Harley will be used. I think Deadshot will be used.
Right. They'll have a couple of those folks come back in Justice League and other things,
Right.
but no Suicide Squad 2.
They could have. Oh, by the way, they could kill more people. This is Suicide Squad, but the characters they killed, one of them I liked. I liked Diablo.
The
I
most
really
powerful
liked-
guy on the team, pretty much, a pyrotechnic, can
Yes.
control flame, etc. They killed him.
I thought his moment though at the end was kind of great.
Except the villain can't be, apparently, flame doesn't bother the villain that much,
Bombs do.
but bombs do.
Bombs.
I went, what?
I know.
What?
That's the thing. I was at a B maybe last night. I kept thinking about the movie. I'm like, okay, B minus. I'm going to see it again.
And they keep setting up that, hey, if you disobey, we're going to blow your head off. And then Will Smith disobeys, and they let him live. Because you can't get rid of Will Smith in your movie.
No.
But the
Charisma.
whole impetus to leave, for those folks to stay, is now gone.
Yeah.
And they stay.
Yeah, they stay.
And I'm like, you guys are dismantling your movie in front of me.
I mean, what it all comes down to, the reason I'm disappointed is because I liked the characters, but it didn't feel like as a squad they really fit well together. The fun was not there. This was not a wild bunch.
there was not a lot of fun.
Honestly, when they got to the bar scene and when they were heading into the climax of the movie, I'm like, oh yeah, they're all screw loose. They're just going into this. And then the end kind of, yes, it fell apart. But I was like, there's the fun I wanted.
And they cut the bar scene. We know they were as part of the
Right,
bar scene
but-
because they showed it in the trailer, and that was where it started to get good, and they cut it.
Yes. Which, maybe we'll get something later.
Except then they
Except-
tried to do another Guardians Force where all of a sudden even Diablo's like, hey, don't mess with my family. I'm like, wait a minute. You have known these people a day
Right.
as far as this movie is concerned.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're forcing this
Hey, at least
now.
there wasn't a dance-off.
That's true. Although, awesome. It'd be great if it was.
Right? Yeah, you'd be like, this seems familiar
This
right
seems
here.
familiar right here. I think it faltered a lot.
Look,
Now there is
yeah.
a lot of controversy about Harley Quinn, about Margot Robbie's take on Harley Quinn, about her being in an abusive relationship. She's not a strong female character. Look what she's wearing, etc., and all this. And I'm going, well, that's kind of the character.
It is the
Not
character.
every female character is going to be perfect.
No issue whatsoever. It is true to the character, and yeah, she's demented. So is everyone else in this movie.
Yeah. But they skip a lot of the characters too. Like they have Killer Croc in it,
Yeah.
and they don't get into his
They coulda killed him.
origin too much. But he's one of the more powerful ones. Not all of them. Again, some of them just wield baseball bats. But
Yeah.
and
Katana.
he doesn't find out his fantasy. Like, we don't know what his is. They kind of skip a lot of their
They could have
characters
killed him.
too.
They should have killed him.
And instead of building them up so that we care about them a little bit, they kind of dispense with them. Even if they don't kill them, they just don't let us in on their
I think
fantasy
there's-
or let us know what they want.
You know, for the fourth time, I will be disappointed if there's no extra footage, because even Katana with her blade as the soul of her husband in
Right.
it, I'm like, there's a story there.
Sure.
Can we go into that?
And
No,
again,
but it didn't go there.
With Guardians, we got into each one of them a little bit. Now, granted,
There's only so much time.
there's only
to
so
our
much
movie.
time, and you center on a couple, but we find out a little bit about each one. And they all get their time in the sun, so to speak. So
Yeah.
that, oh, Rocket's my favorite. No, Drax is my favorite.
Oh,
that kind of
Groot,
thing.
come on.
Groot's my favorite,
Yeah.
whatever. But with this one, wait, who's he again? Like, what is Boomerang all about? Pretty much nothing.
He's kind of funny. I like,
They could have got rid of him. You know
I
what
like
I mean?
Captain Boomerang.
So in the end, there's like about 6 new characters. They get rid of one right off the bat. They let you in really on 3.
Yeah.
And then the other 2 or 3 or so,
Viola Davis, how'd you feel? I liked her.
I thought she was good in it.
I thought she earned it.
Except I was surprised that her and many other people survive helicopter crashes as well as they do. And when she comes out at the end, like she just walked out of a board meeting, I went, wait a minute, shouldn't she like have a nosebleed or something? She was held upside down in water with these things all over.
She's Amanda Waller.
I'm like,
No.
wow, is she a metahuman? Is she
Ooh,
something
what?
other than else?
No, it's just really
It's just
choppy.
dumb.
It's just dumb.
Okay. Yeah, the problem is there's just a lot of stuff in there. You go, come on, guys. Just because it's a comic book doesn't mean it has to be stupid.
Right. We've seen that
We've seen
many times
stupid.
over at this point.
We don't need to see it again.
So yeah, I'm right now at this point I'm going to stick with the B-. Next time I watch it, I'm going to kind of just go with it and see if I can get into the humor a little bit more.
Okay.
Because I did miss out on it quite a bit, but it's still B-.
For me, it's still a C+. The more I think about it, the less I like it, kind of thing. Same thing with Ghostbusters. Same thing with a lot of the
Any
supposed
movie this summer.
big blockbusters this summer. I feel like a jerk, but at the same time, I feel justified.
Yeah.
It's the way I feel. I can't help it.
Yeah. No, it's okay. Comparison real quick, because I hate doing these, but Deadpool came out of nowhere, was very rated R.
Very.
But it gave us the same story we've seen 30 times over, but with this fresh take on it.
Yeah. Fourth wall breaking,
yes.
the humor.
The shock humor.
Characters that we've wanted to see done right and weren't like Colossus, etc.
Whereas this one was like, hey, we got style, and I'm like, okay, this is different, and then it didn't explain the story that it was getting into, and that was my problem.
Yeah.
So, it doesn't have the freshness. It doesn't really know what it is. But
Yeah,
yes.
in the end, it didn't do what it was supposed to do. Again, it wasn't gritty enough where you wanted it to be. It wasn't fun enough where you wanted it to be. It wasn't cohesive. And it didn't really introduce it to these guys so you even cared about them coming together in the end.
I think general audiences are going to be okay with it.
You do?
I do. It's messy fun, and people are okay with plot holes.
I think it'll have a really good opening weekend because everyone's psyched for it, and
Right.
its competition is 9 lives. But I think after that, it's going to do a Star Trek.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
which lost 60% in its second
Yeah,
weekend.
same with every movie
So.
this summer. Yeah.
There you go. That's our take on Suicide Squad with spoilers and without. But stick around. Kent's got a joke. Don't you?
Yeah.
University Credit Union, 16 locations from Bountiful to South Jordan. Local to Utah, loyal to you.
Talk 365 studio space provided by Media Riff.
Welcome back to Talk 365. We've taken a few minutes to find a joke in this book that I haven't read yet. This is the book, Jokes Every Man Should Know, and what a misleading title.
Wow.
Hit me.
Are you ready?
I am.
Why are you making me do this?
Because I usually do it.
A lawyer dies and goes to heaven. He says, there must be some mistake. I'm too young to die. I'm only 55. 55, says St. Peter. No. According to our calculations, you're 82. How'd you get that? The lawyer asks. St. Peter says, we added up your billable hours.
It's amazing. That's exactly what I do at the end of each one of them.
You drop it like
I just
that?
go,
Can we just
Drop it
throw
like
that
it's
on the
not.
ground?
yeah.
Well, you said joke, right?
Yeah, it's a joke book. Look,
It
the
does.
only joke book you'll ever need.
Hey, dads. Happy Father's Day.
Exactly, yeah.
Awesome.
Dan Steinberg.
Yeah, you
I
don't need to
know.
give him a shout out.
I
That's
don't know,
okay.
Don. I don't know. Anyway, catch us next week when Kent is back because we're going to be talking about, I think, 3 movies.
Yeah, Pete's Dragon.
Sausage Party.
Okay.
And
Florence Foster Jenkins.
That's right. Florence Foster Jenkins.
Yes.
With your favorite Big Bang Theory actor.
Mm-hmm.
Is that your name? All right, in between, Holly will be back with some more Wellness Week stuff. So thank you for joining us. Hey, where can they find you?
Once again, baconcell.com, podbash.com, or showtimeshowdown.com. And the UFCA. Hey, I'm one of the 2 newest members of the UFCA, and that's not fighting.
Thanks for watching.